What is up guys, it's Solam here, back again with another classic WoW Season of Mastery video. So today we're going to be doing something a little bit different, and I want to take a look at something I think Blizzard could have done differently with classic WoW's Season of Mastery, or something they can do different with future seasons. So what we're talking about today is the class meta of classic WoW, because there is an established class meta both for melee and for ranged in classic WoW, both in the old classic WoW and in Season of Mastery as well. So for example, for melee you have a lot of people stacking warriors and rogues, and if you're playing on the horde side you usually stack them with a shaman for the Wind Fury totem, and if you're playing on alliance you usually stack them with a paladin to get their blessings. And yeah, you have a meta for melee, and for ranged as well you have a meta where you bring hunters, mages and warlocks inside raids and just have those people pump out damage. That leaves a little bit less room for boomkins, retribution paladins and shadow priests, and also a lot of rogues only go one spec. Same goes for warriors as well. They usually go for the same spec all the time. So what I would like to see done is to have Blizzard spice up the meta a little bit and just rework the classes. Not like a brand new class or like totally reworking the class, but all they would have to do is implement some new talent points and maybe give us TBC talent points. But personally, I would love to see like vanilla plus talent points. So there is a server out there called Vanilla Plus that does this really good. So I'm going to take a look at that talent calculator today, so I can show you guys what is new in Vanilla Plus compared to Classic WoW, or Season of Mastery. So I was originally going to compare every single talent point to the Classic WoW talent calculator, but I did that and it ended up taking like half an hour. So instead I'm going to show you the talent points that have been added in Vanilla Plus, so we can take a look at them. So for the Druid you have a lot of changes, both for balance, feral and restoration, and you will have changes to every single spec in Vanilla Plus compared to Classic WoW, and many of these changes are made so the class itself becomes more fun to play, and even just like shifting around where you get which talents makes certain classes so much more fun to play. I'm just going to show you right now, like for example for balanced druids, you will get access to improved Moonfire, already at level 10, and it will increase the critical strike chance by 10% for every single talent point. In Classic WoW you would have to wait until level 15 to get this talent, and every single talent point only gave you 2% crit. Next up, another talent point you get access to at level 10, which really helps balance druids by a lot while leveling, is Cycle of Life. This one gives you a 50% chance to gain a 100% bonus to your spirit after killing a target that yields experience or honor points. This effect also allows 50% of your mana regen to continue while casting, and it lasts for 50 seconds. It is basically a Shadow Priest, or the talent point Shadow Priest get access to, which is called Spirit Tap. You get access to that one as a boomkin, which is absolutely great. It feels so good to level with. And next up, we don't have too many changes. We have Hurricane at level 15. Yeah, 15 you get Hurricane, which is really early, but it gives you access to AoE abilities straight off the bat, and the second you jump into dungeons you can already start doing or making AoE abilities. Actually this is level 20, yeah, level 20. So Hurricane really early this time around, and you will also get access to Moonkin form at level 30, instead of having to wait until I think it's level 40 or 50. It's level 40 in Classic WoW, so you get access to that one 10 levels earlier, and you also have something called the Dream State, which regenerates 1% of your total mana every 10 seconds, which once again really helps boomkins, as they are really dependent on their mana, and one of the reasons they're not really too used in raiding in Classic WoW is because they're a huge glass cannon. They can probably keep up with the DPS for like 10 seconds, then they go out of mana, and they're pretty much useless for the rest of the fight. Another huge talent point that has been added in Vanilla Plus is called Nature Balancer, which you can get access to already at level 35, and this one makes it so your Wrath spells have a 4% chance to increase to have a 4% chance of your next Moonfire or Starfire. Let's try that again. There is a typo there, so excuse me. Nature Balancer, your Wrath spells have a 4% chance to increase the critical strike chance of your next Moonfire or Starfire by 50%, and your Moonfire or Starfire spells have a 4% chance to increase the critical strike chance of your next Wrath by 50%. And you can have 5 points into this, which if you have 5 points it gives you a 20% chance instead of 4. Next up, for Feral, you also have a lot of changes. So as you move on down, you will see a lot of changes for Feral as well. For example, Untamed Heart, heal yourself for 30% of your health, and increase your maximum health by 30% for 20 seconds. You also have access to something called Stalking, which increases the critical strike chance of your Ravage and Shred abilities by 15%. You also have something called Killer Instincts, which increases all damage caused by 1%, and in addition, your melee critical strikes will increase your attack speed by 10% for your next 3 attacks. You also have Survival Instincts, which reduces the chance you will be critically hit by melee attacks by 1%, and also your critical strikes restore 1% of your maximum health. You also have Leader of the Pack, which is a TBC ability, or TBC talent point. You will get that one in Vanilla Plus. Restoration Druids are a little bit less interesting, but they have something called Accuracy, which increases your chance to hit. They have a Resurrection spell called Revive. They have something called Custody of Nature. They have improved Rejuvenation, and they have Animism. Next up, for Hunters, you have a total rework of the survival tree, which basically focuses a lot more on melee abilities. So for example, you have something called Melee Specialization, which increases your melee attack speed by 20%, but also reduces your range attack speed by 20%, and increases the shot time of your aimed shot and multi-shot by 1 second. You can then improve into Dual Wield or two-handed Specialization. You have Thrill of the Hunt, which can restore mana. You have something called Brutality, which increases your pet's chance to get a critical strike in melee by 1%, also increases the critical strike chance in Raptor Strike, and Mongoose Bite by an additional 2%. You have improved Raptor Strike, and all the way down here you also have Savage Blow, you have Find Weakness, Lightning Reflexes for attack speed and agility, and you have Whirling Axe, which is once again a melee spell. Or I guess melee ability. For mages in Vanilla Plus you have a couple of changes, but the ones I wanted to highlight are, for example, Time Pressure for arcane mages, which increases the casting speed by 4%, for a total of 20% for all 5 talent points. You have Mind Mastery, which is almost the same, improved Arcane Power and Arcane Power, into Arcane Wrath and also Arcane Mind, pretty much all of the same spells, but you also have Elemental Precision, which is in Arcane, and all the way down there you have Brilliance Aura, which generates 1% of total mana every 10 seconds to all party members within 30 yards. For Fire you have Critical Mass, which can lead into Chain Reaction, which while active your fireball spells strike an additional nearby target, and maintaining this effect may harm your body and soul. So kind of a fun play mechanic there, where it might have some negative effects on your character as well. You have Blast Wave, which also leads into Thermal Expansion, which generates mana equal to your level every 5 seconds. You have Overheat, which also goes into Combustion. You have Ignite, you have Pyromania, and a lot new spells that you can play with. Now, just to go over some of the specs that are also wanted, or like some of the meme specs, so for example Retribution Paladins, you will get access to Conviction really early on. You will also get Crusade really early on, because you get Conviction really early. Now all the way down here you will also see Vengeance, you will see Codex of the Silver Hand, which allows 20% of your mana regen to continue during and for 5 seconds after casting. In addition, reduces the mana cost of your Holy Light spells by 10%, but increases its casting time by 0.5 seconds. You also have Blessed Strikes, which causes your attacks to ignore up to 60 of your target's armor, and the amount of armor reduced scales with your level. So as you level up, it will ignore more and more armor, also reduces the threat caused by all actions by 4%, except when under the effects of Righteous Fury. You also get Crusader Strike at level 40, so there's a lot of quality of life changes to Paladins. You also get Seal of Command really early. So there's a lot of quality of life changes that make Paladins a lot more viable in Vanilla Plus. Next up for Shadow Priest, while you don't have the things you have in TBC, you have something called Burnt Soul, which gives your shadow damage spells a 5% chance to generate 3% of your total mana over 9 seconds at the cost of 9% of your health. So basically, you can always generate mana, and by having more dots on the target, you can always have more and more chance to generate more and more mana while dealing damage. So yeah, basically what I would want to see for a future season, or what I wanted to see for a Season of Mastery as well, was basically reworking classes, or reworking talent points to make every class and every spec viable in pretty much every scenario. So taking a look at these Vanilla Plus talents, they make it so every class is kind of viable. They increase the damage output of the classes that lack damage. They also give silences or stuns to classes that lack silences and stuns. So for example, Elemental Shamans having Sand Blast, which sends a wave of sands blinding nearby enemies for 4 seconds. You have a lot of these quality of life changes, and also getting access to really important talent points at level 10. So for example, Storm Reach for Elemental Shamans and so on. There's a lot of good changes here, so I wanted to highlight that and ask you guys, would you want to see something like this being done for a future season in Classic WoW? So probably not for Season of Mastery, because that is happening right now, but for a future season, would you want to see kind of a Vanilla Plus / Classic Plus type of thing happen, where they make every class viable? Let me know in the comment section down below. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like down below, leave a comment as well. Once again, let me know what you think about this. Subscribe for more WoW content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.